Hi everybody, it's Paul here from Ballistic Blood Bullets, and it's time for action, care of Film Game Junkies, aka Chris and Victoria, two fantastic people. If you don't already subscribe to them and you don't know their channel, get across there as soon as you can. Great people, really entertaining, down to earth, fun people, very nice, entertaining channel as well. And both Chris and Victoria, good, decent people, as I say. And Chris particularly, he seems to be more often than not the face of Film Game Junkies. But Victoria, no doubt, is the brains and beauty behind the scenes, and obviously the producer of the fantastic programming. Definitely go across there, as I say. And both Chris and Victoria, they're very kindly throwing a contest for their 250 subscriptions, which they've now attained. And I'm very sure they will have now surpassed, and it will continue to grow. It is one of the most entertaining movie channels out there. And as I say, very much worth your time and trouble to check them out. And do stop by and do so, please. Now, the theme of the contest is for us to name actually our favourite movie genre, and also then Chris and Victoria have asked us to give 3 favourite movies from that genre, or 3 or so. I think Chris particularly is aware that for a lot of us it's going to be difficult to name just a few titles, and I think he actually actively is welcoming more titles and as many as we wish to put forward, really, which is good. And as an extra bonus question, he's also asked us to throw in and name our 3 favourite video games, or again 3 or more. Now, as far as the genre is concerned, it is for me so difficult. I mean, I am generally somebody who just loves film, the pure escapism, the enjoyment of sitting back and just unwinding and losing yourself for 90 minutes, a couple of hours, in a fantastical tale, an action tale, a thriller, a horror, even a romantic film, a musical, anything that escapes from the real world and the trials and tribulations and troubles that we all have, and we all need that escapism. And for me, it's always been movies. I guess if I have to get down to the nitty-gritty of it, that my choice for a genre would fall between horror and action. And my channel, of course, is Ballistic Blood Bullets, so I'm going to go with action. And of course, what we're looking at and have been looking at for a few minutes now, in the backdrop here, there's a selection of some action movies. But as I say, there's so many that I could choose from. This is a great excuse to throw some of those titles in there. But I'm going to stick to 3 particularly favoured movies, and also a couple of others. We all really know action. I think most of us enjoy action movies. They are just pure fun and escapism, and just to throw in a couple really to get things going before I make my selection of 3 for this particular occasion. Of course, one of the greats from Hollywood and all-time action favourites for me, particularly as a younger person, is Raiders of the Lost Ark. It really was and is a throwback to those old 20s, 30s and 40s serial themed action series that used to be shown Saturday morning cinemas and Saturday morning TV in the sort of 70s, 80s and 90s, and just is fabulous stuff, of course, starring Harrison Ford, and big fun. I enjoyed the sequels, but this really is a standout movie, no question about it. Now, also for me, when it comes to action movies, there's one director that is absolutely synonymous and important to me, just produces and delivers and always has the fun element, the action element, and that is Mr. Bruno Mattei, director Bruno Mattei. And one of his very finest movies for me was a film right at the end of the all-action 80s cycle of action movies. And that is the film Born to Fight, which is what we're looking at here. And it stars one of my big favourite Euro action stars of the time, and that is Mr. Brent Huff. I think if you have a film that either features Brent Huff or Red Brown, you really can't go wrong at all. And this was just an explosive conclusion to the 80s, made in 1989. It really was as if Bruno Mattei took everything that was left on set, and the 80s was coming to a closure, and he just blew up everything literally on screen. There wasn't a hut left standing. It is pure hut-sploitation movie making at its very, very finest. Great film, and very difficult for me to not include in the top three, but I think it's fair to say I can't choose an actual top three. They're always going to change, but that would definitely be one of them. But let's go into the three that I've chosen for entry into Chris and Victoria's contest. And the first of the three is a Chuck Norris classic, Lone Wolf McQuade. This is just fabulous, fabulous, fun action entertainment, and it's one of those movies I watched well in excess of 10, 15 times, probably into the 20s, since the 80s when it first came out. And it's just a big, explosive movie. Star Chuck Norris, David Carradine is the bad guy. The beautiful Barbara Carrera at the time was just so stunning. The standout fight between Chuck Norris and David Carradine. And of course the very fun car number plate, if you watch the film, that David Carradine rolls up onto into scene with, into shot with, and that is Karate. Karate. Can't get better than that. Just an explosive, great, all-action 80s movie starring one of my favourite action heroes, Chuck Norris. And so pleased that he is going to be making an appearance in Sylvester Stallone's film next year, Expendables 2. Looking forward to that. And speaking of Sylvester Stallone, that leads me right into one of the all-time classic great action films of the 80s, and a movie that really spawned pretty much all of those classic 80s Italian rip-off films, and that of course is Rambo First Blood Part 2. Sylvester Stallone at his finest. This is just brilliance. Absolute fantastic action movie of the highest order. It is just explosive entertainment, truly an iconic character, absolute fantastic film, and it's going to be in pretty much every true film fan's collection. And if it's not in any action film collector's collection, they can't call themselves a collector. This is just a must-have action movie. Absolute brilliance, and every time I watch it, it's just as entertaining as the first time of watching. And this is my treasured Laserdisc edition of the movie. It really is just such big fun. So there we are, that's my second official entry for the action genre, and that is Rambo First Blood Part 2. No men, no law, no war can stop him. Sylvester Stallone. Okay, on to my third official entry into Film Game Junkies contest. And this again has got such a fantastic cover art to it. The movie's called Just a Damn Soldier, and the star on the front there that we're looking at is again one of the greats of the Italian action genre, and that is none other than Romano Christoph. And also starring in this film are Peter Hooton, Mark Gregory, who of course is the iconic Trash in Enzo G. Castellari's fantastic movies The Bronx Warriors and Bronx Warriors 2, Escape from the Bronx. Also stars Mike Monty in this one. And it's directed by Ferdinando Baldi. And Ferdinando Baldi is just one of those great old school prolific filmmakers from Italian Euro cinema, making movies since the 50s through the 60s, 70s and well into the 80s, late 80s. And as I say, one of those great old school styled prolific action directors who very, very much was a pro and seasoned director right through a lot of the genres, from sword and sandal to spaghetti westerns to the action jungle adventures. And he knew how to make a great action movie, and Just a Damn Soldier is one of those great action movies. Absolutely classic, wonderful stuff. Very, very entertaining. And that is my official third entry into the action genre for the contest. Okay, as a bonus question, Chris and Victoria have asked us, as I say, to name 3 favourite video games. That's a little bit more tricky for me, but let's give that a go and check out some video games. Okay, here we go with some video games. 3 favourite video games entry, and straight into some Neo Geo film, not film, we're on to games now, but the film theme is carried over because it's action, and this is big fun. Metal Slug 3, and a massive 708 megabytes, and this is on the Neo Geo system. These are really expensive to buy. They really are. These cost hundreds and hundreds of pounds, but there we are, and they are very, very cool games. Great big characters on the screen because of the size of the megabytes put into producing the games. But this one's an action-packed, fun adventure game, and very much is a favourite. Okay, sticking with the Neo Geo, another very entertaining game, and one that I always go back to, and it's such a blast, and believe it or not, I've never finished it because it is just extremely difficult. Get right through to the end with the end boss, but never been able to overcome him. But it's still very addictive, and that's NAM 75, 1975. Again, it's another action-themed game, and it's an explosive one, so I guess that the action is definitely in my genes. But this is very entertaining stuff. Big fun, and some very quirky characters, very scary characters as well, actually, and it very much does set the theme and scene from Vietnam. And as I say, that's NAM 75, 1975. On to some more traditional game fare, like the old racing games, and one of the best is for the Xbox 360 for me, and that's Project Gotham Racing 3. Project Gotham Racing 3, PGR 3. Big fun, just pure adrenaline entertainment, really is good driving fun. And just to throw in an extra one to end the theme on a horror high, and another game for the Xbox 360. This is a game called Dead Rising, and it's about blasting zombies, and this is quite a cool one actually, because again, much like Blu-rays these days, this is actually a steelbook edition of the game, and very much a collectible. So again, along with the movies, it's nice to have collectible limited editions of some of these video games as well. I really don't get time to play the games because films is really my thing, but every now and again, once in a every sort of 3 or 4 months, maybe a bit longer. Or special occasions like sort of at Christmas time when people come round, you can put games like this on, and it's good fun. And this definitely, again, pure escapism with a zombie theme. Blast them to death, all manner of weapons and tools and what have you. The blood runs thick and fast and plentiful, and it's entertainment, it's escapism, and that's Dead Rising. So there we are. That is my entry also to Chris and Victoria's contest, and that is my 3 favourite video games, with a little bonus extra of Dead Rising thrown in. So thanks very much, guys. I hope that proved to be an interesting video entry for you and meets with your requirements. Thank you for inviting us to enter the contest. Really grateful for that. And best of luck to everybody else that enters the contest. And as always, thank you very, very much indeed for taking the time and trouble to watch my videos. I really do appreciate it. Thanks very much indeed, guys. Take care. Bye for now.